So now let's just get into it. What are your thoughts on that passage?
So 12, it starts out very similar to like how 11 ended in talking about like just this idea of youth in like it kind of talked about at the end of chapter 11 where it said like enjoy the time of your youth because dark times will come, right? This one says that like in the time of your youth good things are going to happen, but you should also remember your creator, right? And so that brings about the idea of when nothing's going wrong in your life, like where is your mind? Because a lot of people reach out to God in like times of trial or times of tragedy, and that's like a tool that gets used to bring our attention to God. But it's saying here, even during those happy times, make sure that you are still thinking about God, regardless of your situation, good or bad. You always need God, whether or not you know.
Yeah. No, that's facts. What I really love about this passage of scripture right here is that you kind of see how in the first chapter, the author kind of goes at examining the whole world.
Okay.
You know, he talks about how, what does he say? He uses creation itself to display the stagnant and influx relationship of everything. And then he uses that as a philosophy to basically talk about how life is meaningless.
Okay.
So he's using creation, or he's using the cosmological atmosphere of everything to prove his point of his philosophy. And in the same way, you actually see him doing a similar thing, but instead of using all of creation, he's using the mortality of the body.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To call back to that constant theme that we see throughout all of Scripture, all of Ecclesiastes. All of Ecclesiastes proving the point of there is something wrong. This is not good, but it's happening. You are dying. Yes, remember, you are growing older. You are growing weaker. You are diminishing over time. And with this, you need to remember where you came from. It honestly reminds me of this thought of how the word, and I heard this, I don't know how true it is, but it kind of reminded me of this philosophy in Judaism. Once again, I don't know how true it is, but this thought of Judaism, or how the word Yahweh came about, and how basically that aspect of Yahweh, I am who I am, or I will be who I will be, that constant, just, he was there in the beginning,
yes.
He was just there. And one way I heard how the Jews think of it is kind of like when a baby is born, that first breath. You breathe in.
Okay.
Like you kind of hear the Yahweh in the breath. So in a way, this is okay. This is just what I've heard from some stuff.
Conjecture or not?
Yeah. I don't know. It could be a huge stretch, but from what I've heard, it's almost like you breathing is just that in and of itself is in a way of praising God, because you are calling back to the one who gave you that breath in the first place.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of interesting. I thought that was kind of interesting. But to get back to the main point, that concept of when you were born, you took your first breath.
Yeah.
And then when you die, you will take your last breath. That breath symbolizing the energy or that life-giving spirit.
Okay.
That is in you, and now it's leaving you. And it's going back to the one who gave it to you. In the same way you see right here, you were strong, but now your body is growing older and older and weaker. And just like how in the beginning you're supposed to remember your creator, that's where you came from. Now at the end, it's all returning back, like a constant cycle. Just like in the first chapter, it showed the constant cycle, how there's no real gain.
The seas are never filled.
Yeah, the season, you're never fully filled. The eye is always seeing, the ear is always hearing. Everything is going around in circles. It's always the same desires that we're chasing after. Nothing is fully fulfilled. In the same way, like you may think that you're leaving God, but in the end, you will have to face him.
Yes.
Once again. That's
What?
good.
Yeah.
I kind of just like really thought about that, and that's powerful.
One thing I'm thinking about with this like Yahweh breathing type concept, right, is that like with that first breath you talked about, how it can be like the in Yah and the out way, right? And then you connected it to the idea of like the first breath in versus the last breath out,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's even that first yah and that last way.
Ooh.
So there's a bunch of little circles that
Yeah.
of the Yahwehs of all the breaths of life that you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that, you can see the connection between the first Yah and the last way,
Mhm.
is what I'm saying. So it's
Wow.
kind of, that's fascinating. Once again, that's conjecture.
Yeah.
We don't know, but like, that's
oh
kind of a
yeah.
cool
We
point.
don't. Yeah, we have no. That's just a thought. That's just a, something that we found interesting, or I found interesting while looking into it a little bit.
Yeah, that's neat. That's very neat.
But yeah,